Hello, I am Mingqi Han, and this is the video explanation of homework 1, question number 3. So this question is pretty much straightforward. There's a noisy channel that getting a 0 might get you a 0 or get you a 1, and also the same for getting a 1. So there's one thing to remember, that the correct way of transmitting a signal is from 0 get a 0 and from 1 get a 1. And the other ways from 0 get a 1, from 1 get a 0 are wrong. And that's pretty much it. Question number 1 wants to find the probability of the data 0 is received, right? So the probability of receiving 0 is that you receive an input signal of 0 and output from the noisy channel a 0, and that's one situation. The other one is receiving a 1 from the input and mistakenly getting a 0 as an output. So that's pretty much what we need to calculate, do all the calculations. So that's pretty much it. From a 0 get a 0 is 0.6, which is probability of having a 0 as an input, and receiving the output from that input 0 as and having an output 0 is 0.7. So the probability of from a 0 to a 0 is 0.42. And the probability of receiving of getting an input 1 and receiving a 0 is 0.4 times 0.2, which is 0.08. Combined is the probability of having a data 0 as at the end side of the channel, which is 0.5. To confirm that this value is correct, we can also calculate the probability of data 1 is received, because you're either going to receive a data 0 or a data 1. You cannot receive any other. So 1 minus probability of getting a 0 is getting a 1. So getting a 1 is also 0.5. But getting a 1, you can either get a 1 from 1 to a 1, which is 0.4 times 0.8 is 0.32, or getting a 0 and mistakenly getting a 1 as the output, which is 0.6 times 0.3, which is 0.18. Combined is the probability of getting data 1 as the output, which is also 0.5, which is equal to 1 minus 0.5, which this 0.5 is the probability of getting a 0. So 1 minus the probability of getting a 0 is the probability of getting a 1. And that's pretty much it for question number 1. The second part of it is to calculate the probability of having an error. By error, it means that you should get a 0 from a 0, but instead you get a 0. You get a 0 from a 0, but instead you get a 1 from a 0, which is false, and vice versa. Getting a 0 from this one is also mistake. So what we need to calculate is the probability from here to here and from here to here, which we already did. From a 1, getting a 0 is 0.08, and getting a 0 from a 0 get a 1 is 0.18, and combined is 0.26. This is the probability of getting an error. And to confirm that this is the probability of getting an error, we can also calculate the probability of not getting an error, which is from 0 get a 0, from 1 get a 1, which we also calculated above, is here, 0 to 0, 0.42, and 1 to 1, 0.32. Their combined is 0.74, which is equal to 1 minus 0.26, which confirms that this value that we get for the error is correct.